top stories, Ethiopia welcomes EU's conclusion to revitalize partnership with it. And South Africa doubles down on pulling out from the ICC. Hello dear viewers, welcome to Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Afar. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it welcomes the conclusion of the Council of the European Union to renew its partnership with Ethiopia. The EU's Council issued conclusions on Ethiopia on April 24, 2023, acknowledging the progresses made in the implementation of the Pretoria Peace Agreement, among other things. The latest statement from the ministry underscored that Ethiopia has endeavored to revitalize its partnership with the EU. The Council's conclusions will help strengthen this partnership, it added. The EU's readiness to recommence its regular multi-annual indicative program, its strong encouragement of the international financial institutions to assist Ethiopia in its economic stabilization and reform agenda, and its call on creditor countries to swiftly conclude the debt restructuring processes through the common framework are welcome, the statement said. It added that it is high time that Ethiopia's relations with the EU and other friends of the country are placed on a robust grounding. Moving on, Ethiopia's Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen met and discussed bilateral and regional issues of common interest with the President of Burundi, Evariste Ndayishimiye. Demeke told the president that Ethiopia is committed to solidifying stability and consolidating peace and security in the country following the peace deal reached in Pretoria. He also called for regular consultations among the Nile Basin riparian countries on the use of the waters. President Ndayishimiye, for his part, said the multifaceted diplomatic relationship is historic and needs to be further revamped. Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister Demeke Mekonnen has also arrived in Uganda on an official visit there. Upon his arrival in Kampala, Demeke was welcomed by the country's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Henry Okello. The body of the late Ethiopian vocal artist Zarivun Odajo was laid to rest at St. Trinity Cathedral in Addis Ababa in the presence of families, friends, and fans. Reputed for his melodious voice and touchy lyrics, Zarivun was born in Nakamte Town, Oromia State in 1948. He's credited with over 95 artistic works which focus on the unjust human rights violations. An Ethiopian artist focusing on Oromo issues, he sang endlessly, magnifying the hope held by the Oromo. Enjoying his heydays stretching back to no less than half a century, he staged over 20 concerts to his fans. Zarivun and his friends put a lot of efforts, finally succeeding in the establishment of an Oromo music band to promote the cultures and aspirations of Ethiopia's largest ethnic community.
Hola, gamo,
Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Addis News Hour. The Embassy of the United States of America in Addis Ababa has handed over 10 vehicles to the regional police force of the state of Afar. The charge d'affaires of the U.S. Embassy, Tracy Jacobson, has handed over the vehicles. Tigisanisa has the following report.
I present this one to you, and thank you very much.
Charge d'affaires of the U.S. Embassy in Addis Ababa, Ambassador Tracy Jacobson handed over 10 vehicles to the Afar Regional Police in the presence of Chief Administrator of Afar Region, Awal Arba, and the Commissioner General of Ethiopian Federal Police, Demilash Gebra Mikael. These vehicles are expected to help the Afar Regional Police to escort humanitarian convoys passing through the Afar regional state, it was learned. Handing over the vehicles, Ambassador Jacobson reiterated that despite a number of challenges encountered during the active war last year in the north, the people of Afar were nothing but helpful in ensuring humanitarian emergencies reached the needy. The ambassador also added that after the Pretoria peace agreement reached, guns have been silenced in the region.
And since that time, we have seen that the guns have been silenced, that the truce has held, the permanent cessation of hostilities is being implemented with the delivery of humanitarian assistance to more and more communities in need, with the restoration of services to people who deserve those services in Tigray, Amhara, and Afar, and with the beginning of the demobilization, disarmament, and reintegration process.
Afar Regional Chief Administrator Awal Arba, for his part, noted that the Pretoria Peace Agreement reached is such a good manifestation of finding African solutions to African problems.
Despite it had been difficult, we not only win as a country but also as an African continent indeed. This should be taken a lesson by other parts of the world.
Thanking people in regional administration of Afar for their assistance in reaching people in need during critical time, Ambassador Jacobson pointed out that U.S. will stand together with the people and government of Ethiopia.
These are all important tasks, and we will stand together with the government of Ethiopia and the people of Ethiopia as they take on these important challenges. But for today, we really want to thank the government and people of Afar for their assistance in ensuring the delivery, the safe delivery, the accurate delivery of humanitarian assistance to those who need it. And with that in mind, we are turning over these vehicles to the police in Afar, who have been our partners in making sure that humanitarian convoys can safely move inside Afar to the people that are being the recipients of humanitarian assistance there, and also to Tigray.
Regional Chief Awal went on saying that since the Afar corridor was the only open corridor to reach the war-affected areas during the active wartime, despite multiple challenges, it was able to reach the needy.
Afar had been the only open corridor reaching the needy during the war. Despite a number of challenges encountered, we were able to help our brother in need. At the end of the day, we are brothers of each other.
Now, the spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry, Mao Ning, says China stands ready to support Ethiopia's post-conflict reconstruction and economic recovery to the best of its capability. Attending the event, Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa Affairs of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Xu Bing, was awarded a certificate of recognition by the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Mao Ning said China firmly supports Ethiopia in safeguarding its sovereignty and territorial integrity, saying that Ethiopia is key to stability in the Horn of Africa. Mao said a peaceful and stable Ethiopia is of great significance for the region's lasting peace and security. That's according to Xinhua. China also stands ready to work with all parties in the international community to pool wisdom and turn the Horn of Africa into a region of peace, cooperation, and common development, Mao said.
For more than half a century, Hungary and Ethiopia have shared what can be called excellent relations.
We have to understand that the recent years were not the easiest ones, neither for you nor for us.
Looking at a lot of change in Ethiopia, security reform, a move towards transitional justice, political dialogue, as well as an implementation of a peace deal.
I think your government makes it fine that they concentrate on how to make it better for the country and how to make it better for your own people.
Foreign policy strategy of Hungary, global opening, which seeks to revitalize relations with sub-Saharan Africa.
Any kind of uncertain position by the European Union could make things shaky here.
Hungary's understanding of Agenda 2063 of Africa.
I think it is the best if there are African solutions for African problems.
And now moving to other stories, the town of Metemma Yohannis in West Gondar zone of the Amhara state is hosting a number of foreign nationals fleeing the conflicts in Sudan. Citizens of different countries are entering Ethiopia through Metemma Yohannis town of the western Gondar zone. According to the Amhara Communication Bureau, in the wake of the unrest in Sudan, nationals of 23 countries, including citizens of Sudan, have entered Ethiopia and are moving to the areas of their interest in the country. Some 15 to 20 buses are transporting the evacuees to Gondar city every day, including children and women. Government officials and security forces are carrying out humanitarian activities so that citizens can reach their desired areas with safe conditions. And now in business, Ethiopian Investment Commissioner calls on investors to engage in the major priority investment areas in Ethiopia. This came here yesterday when a three-day international forum titled Invest Ethiopia 2023 kicked off in the presence of federal and regional top government officials. Kasaun Chane has more on that.
Having made a wide range of reforms in the investment sector over the past few years, Ethiopia aims to create an enabling environment and easy bureaucracy in the area for investors. This is the spirit under which the Investment Commission organized an investment gathering in Ethiopia. The Commission pointed out that, thanks to the reforms embarked upon by the government, attractive investment prospects have been witnessed in Ethiopia, including policy reform initiatives. Commissioner Lalise Name urged investors to participate in such primary priority investment areas as agriculture, mining, ICT, tourism, logistics, manufacturing, among others. She noted that Ethiopia has implemented a wide variety of reforms in the investment sector to foster an enabling climate and reduce bureaucracy for investors.
Ethiopia has recorded fast economic development and growth. This impressive economic performance has been driven by the government's commitment to promote private sector-led growth, improving infrastructure, and creating a conducive investment climate. Ethiopia's strategic location, access to key markets, and abundant resources make it an attractive destination for foreign direct investment. To attract more foreign investors, the government has implemented a range of policies and reforms, including opening up of key sectors like telecommunication, energy, logistics soon to be open up the financial sector. Ethiopia has identified priority sectors for investment such as agriculture, manufacturing, mining, tourism, and ICT. We have also emerging sectors such as renewable energy, health, transport and logistics, and housing development.
Ethiopia's 5-year-old homegrown economic reform is intended to increase employment, ensure inclusive growth, and reduce poverty. Ahmed Shide, Ethiopia's Minister of Finance, reiterated that more participation and contribution is needed by the investment community to bring the reform to fruition.
We are ready to achieve this goal with your support and looking forward to a brighter future. On the national front, the last 10 years mark a period of tremendous social, economic, and political transition and reforms in Ethiopia. Despite all the challenges, the Ethiopian economy has proven to be resilient, featuring a remarkable achievement of all fundamentals and evolving on a stronger pathway to ensuring sustained growth. Before the emergence of COVID-19 pandemic, the Ethiopian economy had been one of the fastest growing in Africa. Even despite multiple challenges, the economy is strongly growing. Ethiopia was ranked among the top 5 FDI destinations in Africa in 2021, with FDI flows increased by 79% to 4.3 billion in 2021, from 2.4 billion in 2020, and the total FDI stock reaching $31.6 billion US the same year.
The calls to investors were warmly received, as some testimonies by the investors attested, urging the government to work more aggressively to remove barriers the foreign investment vowed to launch projects throughout the country.
The only constraints that we've been facing in the last, I would say, 5 years, but it has been the financial sector. It is, in my opinion, that the financial sector has to be deregulated, like other parts of the East African countries that there are there. Opportunities of creating, by deregulation, there'll be opportunities for further FDI investments. One of the questions that wasn't answered today was a fourth point. How does an investor get his return of money back? If I invest X, what do I get back after 5 years, 6 years? The challenges are there. So the policies have been very restrictive to get the dividends out or get the funds out of the country in a manner that is an investor would like to see, right? The purpose of investing is to get the return. Ethiopia has a massive opportunity, massive opportunities. And it is a country that is in the cusp of growth. And it is my belief, okay, that this will happen in the next 2 to 3 years if the policies are in the right direction.
Well, we were really heartened to hear this morning about, I say, 3 things that has changed since I was last here in 2017. One is that the country is safe. The war has ended, which is absolutely great news. Secondly, your finance minister, who we hope to speak to later, has made that commitment that he wants to stabilize the currency and stabilize inflation. That is absolutely fundamental for us. And thirdly, I think a number of the banking leads and the governor said the deregulation of parts of the economy to allow external investment to come in, to work in partnership with the Ethiopian economy, not almost in conflict with the Ethiopian economy. Because of all those 3 things, we're now ready to look at, in a number of my capacities, about putting money into certainly initially the agricultural sector, around food manufacture and coffee, and then secondly to consider the financial services sector as well.
Cairo, the capital of Egypt, is located on the land connecting Africa and Asia, and is the 7th most populous city in the world. Cairo is the country's center of commerce, economy, education, and tourism. The name of Cairo means victorious in Arabic.
And this is your shop, yeah? And
yeah.
Which kind of things do you have for sale?
I sell perfume and papyrus. It's a gift shop, souvenir shop.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right.
Right on. Nice to meet you. I'm going walking, so.
All right.
Okay.
Enjoy.
All right. All right. So this is the Nile River, and so the Mediterranean Sea, right there, or a little ways, a couple hours drive up there. Alexandria is on the Mediterranean up there.
Welcome back, and in our continental news coverage, we go to Sudan, which is still raging with active conflict threatening to tear it apart. And the UN Refugee Agency says it was gearing up for potentially tens of thousands of people fleeing into neighboring countries. So far, a series of short ceasefires of the past week have either failed outright or brought only intermittent loss in the fighting. Have a listen to this.
The UN Secretary-General on Tuesday called for an end to the fighting in Sudan. So far, a series of short ceasefires the past week have either failed outright or brought only intermittent lull in the fighting.
It is incumbent on Sudanese leaders to put the interests of their people front and center. This conflict will not and must not be resolved on the battlefield with the bodies of Sudan's people. The Sudanese people have made their wishes very clear. They want peace and the restoration of civilian rule through the transition to democracy. The parties to the conflict must respect the 72-hour ceasefire brokered by the United States and come together to establish a permanent cessation of hostilities.
On Tuesday, fresh fighting in Khartoum and Darfur in Sudan's west jolted a new ceasefire brokered by Riyadh and Washington. Millions of people trapped in their homes since violence began on April 15th between forces loyal to the country's top two generals. There are no services. The truce is for providing people with services and for them to go out and buy their needs and then head back home. But there is no one outside because people are not assured. This is the third truce, but people are not assured. Last night, until this morning, there was nothing. But now you can hear the gunfire and the sound of other weapons. So no one is benefiting from the truce. Streets in the capital Khartoum remain mostly deserted Tuesday. Those trapped by fighting say conditions are deteriorating fast. Hundreds continue to flee the capital using buses and private means. The UN Refugee Agency said it was gearing up for potentially tens of thousands of people fleeing into neighboring countries.
Finally, President Cyril Ramaphosa told reporters that the ruling ANC had taken the decision that it was prudent that South Africa should pull out of the International Criminal Court, the ICC. Hours later, the presidency put forward an error by the ruling ANC and said Pretoria remained a participant in the court. The African powerhouse is due to host a summit of a group of countries, including Russia, in August. However, the Hague-based ICC issued an arrest warrant in March for President Vladimir Putin as a member of the ICC. South Africa is theoretically supposed to rush the Russian leader if he enters its territory. Officially, South Africa is considering a legislative amendment that would domesticate and reflect all the articles of the Rome Statute, which is the ICC's founding document. Well, the viewers, you have been watching this news hour. Now a quick recap of the top stories. Ethiopia welcomes EU's conclusion to revitalize partnership with it. And South Africa doubles down on pulling out from the ICC. Well, viewers, with that, we come to the end of today's news. Thank you for